Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be putting on a full face of Dior and showing you a few things which I thought were the best releases for Dior in 2023. Now, unlike Chanel, I didn't buy everything that Dior released, and the reason for that is New Zealand hardly ever gets it when it's just been released. It's normally about 4 to 6 weeks after, but I still managed to pick up quite a few items. So I've done all my skincare for the morning, and the last step is sunscreen, and I did that quite a few hours ago now. So about 10 minutes ago I just reapplied my sunscreen again. Now for primer, I'm going to use the Dior one. This was released last year and there were two different types. This is the Forever Velvet Veil, and there was also a glow one released last year as well. So this one is more suited possibly for combination to oily skin. This has a really beautiful finish. I'm just going to put a couple of pumps of this on the back of my hand. Here's the consistency. It has, you can see, a slight tint to it. It doesn't really show though once you've got it on, but it does give a beautiful base for your foundation. So I just apply it just like any other primer that I pop on. So for the foundation today, there wasn't a new one released last year by Dior. There was a reformulation of the Backstage one, but I haven't picked that up yet. So today I'm going to be putting on the Dior Forever, and this one is the No Transfer, the 24-hour one. So I'm just going to put pump of that on the back of my hand. I may need a little bit more, and today I'm going to put it on using a beauty blender. This also goes on really well using any makeup brush, or you can use even your fingers if you want to. But today I'm going to put it on using a beauty blender. It's going to be really hot today. It's about mid-morning here, and the last time I looked at what the temperature was outside, it'd be higher than that now. It was 32 degrees, that's Celsius. So that's climbing up towards 90 Fahrenheit, and I would say today it's possibly going to hit around about 34 to 36 degrees Celsius. So it's going to be well into the 90s Fahrenheit, so that is a really warm day. So I've got the air conditioning on, although I don't have air conditioning in this room, but I have got this door open. No one's home at the moment, so I've got this door open, so allow a little bit of that air con in. Plus I've got a little fan in front of me that I haven't got going yet, but if it gets too warm in here I will pop that on. This is a beautiful foundation. If you have combination to oily skin, I think you really love the finish of this. So I'm not too sure what I was up to. The delivery guy came and the dog started barking, so I just had to quickly pause it and wait for the dogs to stop barking. But the delivery guy is gone now. I am expecting a couple of things in the mail, so hopefully they are there. So I think I was talking about the finish of this foundation, and I think it would be suitable for combination to oily skin. Those of you that haven't seen my other videos, I am 54 years old and I have oily skin. It's particularly oily now because it's now the middle of summer. This foundation is beautiful. It keeps my skin from getting oily. It has the most beautiful soft finish. It is a medium finish that is buildable. I don't think you can really build it to a full coverage, but using the beauty blender you get this really lovely medium finish, and it never looks cakey and stays lovely all day. Now last year when I went overseas to the States for about 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever it was, this was one of the foundations that I took with me because I knew no matter what the weather was going to be like, that my foundation was always going to look really good. And for the concealer, I'm going to use the Dior Forever. This is the Skin Correct, and this one is in 2WP. I also have this one, I think it's in 2N or 2.5N. I tend to reach for this one a little bit more because it has a bit of that peachiness in it. So it just helps to just conceal the darkness under my eyes just that a little bit more. But this is a really beautiful concealer. I really love the Chanel Sublimage one, but this is really gorgeous too. It doesn't settle or crease under my eyes. It's quite a hydrating concealer, so I find, and because it's hydrating, I find when you use something that is hydrating under your eyes, it doesn't emphasize the wrinkles. It really is a beautiful concealer. So I've now done my brows off camera and also put on some eyeshadow primer as well. And for the powder, I'm going to use the one that came out in the Mitza collection last year. This powder is absolutely beautiful, and I was going to get a backup and I never got round to it, or when I remembered to get a backup of it on the Dior site that I can buy things from, it had sold out. This is beautiful. They did bring out another powder for the Blooming Boudoir collection just before Christmas last year, and it's not quite the same shade, but I understand from the reviews that I've seen that it is still a really beautiful powder, and it doesn't have, sometimes Dior has released some powders and it is full of all this chunky sort of sparkle and glitter, and these powders, this one here from the Mitza and also from that Blooming Boudoir collection, that doesn't have any of those sparkles either. Now the one Blooming Boudoir, that is still available, I think, so maybe I should pick that one up. So it has a little puff on the top, which I use that or a brush, and it just has the flip inside. It has a mesh covering. So I'm going to use the little puff that came with this and just kick some powder up, and it gives the most beautiful finish over your foundation, and it has a gorgeous smoothing effect, and it also gives a really gorgeous blurring effect as well. It is a really beautiful powder, and I quite like I said, I use a brush or this little puff that came with it, and sometimes I quite like using the little puffs that come with these powders. It always just feels like quite sort of an old-fashioned way of doing makeup. It really is a really gorgeous powder. So like I said, if you never got this one and you're interested in it, then if it's available, I will link it down below. And like I said, the Blooming Boudoir one, and that's supposed to be really beautiful as well. So let's get on to eyeshadows. Now Dior released, as they normally do, quite a few different eyeshadows, and this one that was also in the Mitza collection, this was the 10 pan one, and this had a lot of pink and a lot of red in it as well. When I've gone back to use this palette, I mean, the packaging for a start is just stunning, and I'll be the first to admit that I did buy it because of the packaging, and the packaging itself is actually really sturdy. But these are the two colors that I tend to gravitate towards, and even though this is, they call it a 10 eyeshadow palette, I would say this is an eye and face palette. I like to use these as blushes, and perhaps these two colors as well. I don't tend to use these very much. I have on the odd occasion. It would be more these that have more of a brown in it. But these two shades here, they've got a bit of a satin sheen to them, and they really are beautiful on, and beautiful on the eyes, but also really beautiful on the cheeks. Dior also released last year, it was the Eden Rock Quint. Absolutely beautiful, and this shade here is just stunning. If you haven't tried a blue eyeshadow before and you were intrigued to see what they were like, this is a great starting shade. It's not too much when you put it on. It really has the most beautiful finish, and I'll actually swatch this on at the back of my hand. It's got like a grey to it, and it's just beautiful, and it is buildable, but you can make it really soft as well. I love this quint. It is just absolutely gorgeous, and the embossing down here has gone quite a bit, and that's because I have reached for that palette quite a lot. Now also with this collection, they released the one 553 and this was Rivage. Now for some reason, this is beautiful as well. It's got the browns and like a yellow gold here and an orange there. This is really beautiful, but because they were all satin, what I found was if I built one on top of the other, which I tend to do with eyeshadows, start off with this one, put some in the crease, add a little bit more in here. I found for me it emphasized the texture on my eyelids a little bit too much, but the way that I got around this, because I do like this color story, is I just didn't layer the shadows too much. I was just careful with the placement. It is a really lovely palette, but I do prefer the Eden Rock over this one. And I just want to quickly mention the reformulated Dior Quints. Now, I think I've only bought a couple of them so far. So I bought Plum Tutu, and I've done a video on that. I might have done it on one of my everyday makeup videos. And I also bought the reformulated Grand Ball. Both of them are beautiful. I have no issues whatsoever with the reformulation. And Plum Tutu is just absolutely gorgeous. This is a really beautiful color story. But if I can find the video where I did use this palette in, I will pop the link up here if you want to take a look at it. It really is beautiful and has beautiful payoff, and it blends really beautifully as well. I know there's been some people that did have issues with the reformulation, but with the quints that I've bought so far, I really just haven't had any issues whatsoever. And then for the holidays, this is one of the two quints that was released. I never ended up picking up the other one. This is beautiful. This color here, it's like a steely blue. It is absolutely beautiful on the lids, and all of the colors just work really beautifully. This black smokes out really gorgeous. This is probably my favorite shade here, but altogether it just gives a really beautiful look. Really lovely collection from Dior. They also came out with a blush or a couple of blushes with this, and they are really beautiful as well. I think I'm going to be using one of the blushes from that collection in today's video. Now with the Backstage, they also brought out Silver Essentials, and I did a video on this. Really gorgeous eyeshadow. If you love these cool shades, then this is just gorgeous. Beautifully pigmented. I have no issues with the way that this blends, and you can see the pigment on there. Now you can also just tap very lightly into these shades and just slowly build the color up, but I find this blends really beautifully. You can get a multitude of looks with these palettes. I've always liked them. The only difference with them now is they used to have an eyeshadow primer here, and now they no longer have that. But again, these are just absolutely gorgeous. And I think there is it called a smoky neutrals or something like that, that's come out quite recently, and I have ordered that, and when I get it I will do a video on it. But the standout for me was the quint from the Dior Fall. This is a beautiful neutral eyeshadow palette, and I just think this is absolutely gorgeous. Even the embossing, it's like a jumper that we call here, or you in the States call a sweater, had that embossing. A lot of it has gone, but you can still see a little bit of the embossing there. I just love this color story. I just think it is absolutely gorgeous, and I did a dedicated video on this when it came out, and today I'm going to use probably nearly all of the shades, but this is the one that I'm going to use today. And I can't remember, but with the initial video I probably used a mixture of Sonia G and rephr brushes, and today I thought I would use some different brushes to show you that it works with synthetic ones as well. And this is the BK Beauty Angie Hot and Flashy brushes. These are the majority of the ones that I'm going to use today. So I'm going to start off with this middle shade, and let's put this all over the lid. This is a really nice big brush, this one. This is A503. So when you've got a lighter shade and you want to quickly put shadow all over the lid, this does a fantastic job. Next I'm going to take the A502, go into this shade here, and I'm going to start building this colour up. So I'm going to put this shade through the crease and take that also just above onto the brow bone as well. I'm going to use the A504. I'm going to stay with the shade and just tap a little bit off down here. And I'm going to put that on my lower lash line. Then I'm going to go back to the A502. I'm going to go into the darker shade. Put this in the outer corner. I love this quint when I first got it. I've used it a few times since. And I'm pretty sure I took this with me overseas as well last year. I used it the other day. And again, I just absolutely love it. Some people might think it's a boring colour story. I don't. I think it's gorgeous. Blends beautifully. It's something that you almost don't have to think about when applying it. No matter what I tend to do with it, it always turns out really, really lovely. And that's probably to do with the shades, since it is just a really beautiful neutral colour story. I'm going to stay with that dark shade, go back into this brush here, and I'm going to put a little bit of this on my lower lash line as well. Probably just take it through towards the middle. So I'm just taking the applicator that came with the quint, and I've gone into this lighter shade, and I'm just pressing it just through here. And I do this eye look a lot. So I've got the darker on the outer corner and swept up, and then if there is in the palette that I'm using, I go for a lighter shade. I just find this is a really flattering eye look. I'm used to doing it. It's easy to do, and I know that it's going to make, just sort of lift my eyes, make them look a little bit bigger. And it's just a look that I really like doing. Now if I find that I've lost any of the dark eyeshadow by applying that lighter one, I just go back in with one of the brushes, and it's easily fixed. So eyeliner and mascara is done. Now let's get into the blushes. This is the blush that was released with that fall collection with the quint that I've just applied, and this is absolutely gorgeous. Really beautiful shade. Again, has that absolutely gorgeous embossing in it. I'm not going to use this one today though, but I will swatch it on the back of my hand just so you can take a look. It is a really beautiful shade. Has a little bit of a shimmer in there, but really subtle. Very, very beautiful winter shade. Really gorgeous. Now at the beginning of last year, or somewhere around the beginning of last year, they released, it was the Lupine brush, and this has a definite sparkle in it. This is absolutely gorgeous, and I've worn this quite a lot. I have a lot of blushes in my collection, but I did reach for this one quite a bit. It is absolutely beautiful. Now it was last week, I think I was playing around with the Dior blushes, and I put this one on first. This is the Dior blush that came out with the holiday collection, and this one is called Precious Rose. It is 211. This is gorgeous. It is really subtle. It is buildable, but you're never going to get this huge impact. It's like you get a flush of colour that has come from within instead of something that looks like it's been applied on. So I'm going to take the A507 brush, and I'm going to put this on first so you can take a look at it. Such a beautiful, beautiful shade. So I have to go in a few times just to get to the level of pigment that I want, and it's still subtle, but just absolutely beautiful. Really, really gorgeous. So I love the blush just like this. But the other day when I applied the lupine one over the top, it really looked gorgeous. Sort of just took it to the next level. This is beautiful for the day, and also with this over the top as well. What I'm going to do now, pop this one over the top. This is beautiful for the day as well, but it would look really gorgeous in the evening. So I'm just going to go into lupine and then just dot that on the apples through there. And I think these are a match. These two blushes, a match made in heaven. I think together they look really, really gorgeous. And probably no surprise, but the lipstick that I'm going to put on today is the Dior Addict Maximizer. I've got quite a few of these now. I think I have about 14 or 15. These are gorgeous. I often have one in my little bag inside my handbag where I put a few items of makeup in. When I go out, there is at least 1 or 2 of these in here. Now this is the shade from the Blooming Boudoir collection. I think it's called Nude Blooming or something like that, but as I was saying before, I will have everything that I'm putting on my face today. It will be listed and linked below. But this is a beautiful shade, just absolutely gorgeous. So this is the one that I'm going to put on today. Really beautiful, and I often wear these just by themselves. I think I love them because, well, they're easy to apply, but also when you're out and about, you don't really need to look in a mirror to apply them. You can just put them along here without even looking and just put your lips together, and then you've got a really beautiful look. It is gorgeous. I just love the lip maximizers. They are beautiful. And I also love the Blooming Boudoir, the cases that came out last year as well. I also bought the one from, it was the Milfori collection the year before. But this is really gorgeous. I've just got to go through my collection and put one of the lipsticks in there. But really pretty. You can feel the textured fabric on there, and just such a pretty design. And I spoke about this last year, I think, but the Miss Dior, the Blooming Boudoir, the candle, I still haven't lit it yet. I will do soon. It's still sitting here in the box. I bought the one the year before as well in 2022, and that was gorgeous. But they come in this really beautiful vessel. I know that they're only small, but they have a really gorgeous scent, and I keep these vessels. I think they are just really super pretty. And for the perfume today, I'm going to put on, this is in the travel spray, and this is the Blooming Boudoir. I also got the bigger perfume and also a little one, and that was in one of those gift sets. And that's what I'm going to wear today. I love this fragrance. It's very light and floral and very feminine. It's really pretty. And also I just want to show you what I got last year. I actually got this for Christmas as one of my presents from my husband, and I chose it. And it is the Christian Dior. It is the 3 candles, and the year before they had these candles, and I think they also had them last year as well, in the beautiful different designs. I've got one up there behind me there from the 2022, and they are in the different coloured vessels. This one here, they are all white, so it comes with this sleeve, and it has like, it's got a linen type texture on it. It is really beautiful. Now I've just turned down the light in front of me a little bit just so you can take a good look at this. So as I was saying, it is textured through here. You've got that grey and you've got that off-white colour through here. It is really lovely. And then you have inside, which has got the Christian Dior again, and then there is just a small leaflet, and here are the 3 candles, and I really love these because even though I love the ones that they come out especially for the holidays with the beautiful designs on them, I love these just in the white ceramic. I think they look really chic. Now this one here I've had before. This is Amber Nuit, and that is a really gorgeous rich fragrance. These two I haven't tried before, but altogether I think this is a really beautiful collection. Again, I'll just turn down the light a little bit so you can take a better look at them. And on the Dior website, they give quite a detailed description of each of those fragrances with the candles, but I just think the white ceramic is absolutely gorgeous. So today's look is really pretty. I did this look the other day when I was planning what to choose from 2023 to do a full face of the Dior makeup. The foundation is gorgeous. That wasn't released last year, but it is definitely a go-to for me. That Mitsa powder, absolutely beautiful. My skin just feels velvety smooth, and it blurs the pores to some degree as well. It is so flattering. I need to go and have a look and see whether that Blooming Boudoir powder that was released last year is still available. If it is, I need to put an order in because they are beautiful, beautiful powders. The eyeshadow is gorgeous. Some people probably think it's just a boring neutral. I don't. As I was saying earlier, no matter what I do with this palette or the quint, I can just pull it out. I know that it's going to look really good whether I wear it during the day or the evening. It is absolutely gorgeous. The blushes are beautiful. The one that was released at Christmas is very soft on its own and I think gorgeous, but paired with that lupine together, as I was saying, I think they are a match made in heaven, and I think they are gorgeous. The lip maximizer is beautiful. It's about the number 15 that I have in my collection now. I wear them a lot. They're probably one of the products of the year that were released last year for 2023. I just love them that much. I don't know whether they really plump up your lips a lot, but I love the feeling of them on my lips. They're glossy, but they're just not too much, and they're really flattering. And Dior just seemed to hit it out of the park and come out with all these different beautiful flattering shades. So what were your favorite Dior products from last year? Let me know if I've missed something that I did a video on. I probably have. I had a good look through my list of videos that I did last year, but no doubt I probably did miss something. But I don't think I've missed any of the ones that really stood out for me in 2023. I'm really looking forward to what Dior releases in 2024. I've seen the spring already, and I definitely want to get my hands on at least a couple of those quints. I think they look really pretty. They look quite soft going on, but I don't mind that as long as the stain power is fairly good. I really like those really soft pink color stories. I think they are gorgeous. So that's it for today's video. I would love it if you gave it a like and subscribed, and I will see you next time. Bye.